to that next grand final, and that's going to have such huge ramifications for the end of the season scenarios in regards to points going to that promotion relegation tournament. Now here we go, Team Sapphire. They're actually playing Team Black with their actual squad. Actually, they're not playing. Yes, they're playing with their actual squad right now. Team Sapphire playing with their actual squad for the first time against Team Black. They have not played Team Black at all with Papa Dragon yet. He's on their main squad. He's the one who normally likes to step up for his team. But that's going to be a pass down mid, and Azriel's going to put the ball in the back of the net. Team Sapphire opening up the scoring first. Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a series to remember, and I cannot wait to see if Team Sapphire can take down the currently undefeated champions in the Academy League. Remember, Team Black, they have the only team they lost to was Above Region White. When Above Region White was still an Academy team, we promoted them up to mainly because we thought they were too good. And now Team Black are currently undefeated in the Academy League. If Team Sapphire managed to win this match, it's going to be an upset for the ages. And of course, they've had close matches. They've lost games to teams, but Team Sapphire has yet to win a series against Team Black. And I cannot wait to see how this series is going to head out. But everybody, maybe we can see if we can get, we're going to see if we can get a prediction here in chat for you guys. See who do you guys are going to vote on with your channel points to see who is going to get that, who's going to win this series. So everybody remember to put it in chat. The poll is going up now on what team you guys think is going to end up winning this series, Team Sapphire or Team Black. But that's what we like to see, ladies and gentlemen. Team Sapphire and Team Black are two very solid teams. But now, as this game continues on, Team Sapphire is still in the lead. We're going to see who is going to end up making it to the grand finals between these two teams. Remember, Team Black are currently ahead in points right now by around 61 points, if I remember correctly. But now it's up to Team Sapphire. If they manage to win this match and go to the grand final, they're going to take first place away from Team Black. And Team Black are going to have to try and make the grand finals in the final tournament to even have a chance to make the promotion relegation tournament. Because Team Aqua, they're currently undefeated. They have not lost a single game in all their matches so far. All four matches have been perfect sweeps. But here we go. JR stepping up, and he will get the first goal on the board for his team. One thing that we have noticed so far throughout this entire season between these two, between Academy and Main League, is that teams who try to have a carry player do not work out. And Team Black, we saw them start struggling throughout this season once they only were using JR in order to get wins on the board. They were trying to use JR to carry the squad, and of course we've seen it on Team White. They had Pixicard try to carry the squad, and so many different teams tried to have a carry teammate. But it ends up not working out. As we've seen throughout this entire season, the teams with the carry player haven't been able to win. Team White are currently 3-3 after not losing a single game all league play last season, and then only losing in a reverse sweep best of 7 in the grand finals, and not lose a single time that entire season. But now teams are strong, individuals are mechanical, and we're starting to see that Team Black are trying to play more as a team, and it's allowing them to really step up when it matters most. But here comes Cannoli, pops the ball up high. And with 2 minutes left on the clock, Team Sapphire still tied here with the current champs. But now it's going to be over to Papa Dragon. Papa Dragon ends up losing the 50-50. It's going to be over to Azriel. Azriel tries to get the beat on one. It's going to be over to Cannoli. Cannoli pops the ball to the backboard. Now going to be up into the air, puts the ball to the backboard. Follow up now from JR. JR looking for the shot, isn't able to put the ball on target. And this is going to be cleared away to the side once again. Papa Dragon with the fake gets a pass one. With the 50 gets a pass two. Going to be looking to ball all three. It's off the crossbar. Follow from Azriel. Saved away by Pastafarian. And Papa Dragon still stepping up when it matters most. And we cannot wait to see if they can continue this push. JR hits the ball at the backboard, but Papa Dragon once again with the interception. Papa Dragon pushes the ball forward. Now it's going to be over to Pastafarian, but he ends up leaving it for Cannoli. Cannoli ends up getting beat out by Azriel. Azriel looks at the wave dash, isn't up Sizz dashing on that one, and it's going to be back over to JR. JR puts the ball at the side wall, but now with a minute left on the clock here in game number 1, this could be the grand final match this is a rematch from the grand finals last week. But right now, it's very, very close. Team Sapphire, they want to take the win here over Team Black. It's not the end of the world if Team Black end up losing this match, because they do have that one extra point from winning the tournament last week. But when it comes to this match this week, Team Sapphire, they have to get this win here, or Team Aqua will pull ahead of them in the standings. But now it's going to be back over to the side. Back over to JR. JR will push the ball forward. It's now going to be over to 20 seconds left, and Team Black, Team Sapphire still tied neck and neck in this game so far. Papa Dragon off the ceiling, ends up faking it, and Pastafari ends up getting beat out by Tricky. Cannoli into the air will put the ball off the backboard, and Team Black might have one last opportunity here before the ball touches the ground, and we see OT. Ball ends up getting beat out by JR. Tricky, last on defense. JR goes to the bump, but it hits the ground. And Team Black not able to get the goal at the final moments. Team Sapphire breathing a sigh of relief, but that's going to be Team Sapphire's chance. They ended up not getting scored on at 0 seconds, but now can they get the first game win on the board? Ball back out to the midfield line. It's off the crossbar. Follow up from Papa Dragon. It's a weak shot. JR will get the save away. Tricky ends up trying to maintain possession. He ends up getting the ball past another one. Now, ball back out to the midfield line, over to JR. Papa Dragon tries to take the ball away. Asriel now, into the air, trying to take the ball over to the other side of the field. Looking for the flick, tries to get it past Pastafarian, sets up Tricky. Demo on the back line. Papa Dragon with the shot, goes with a double tap, triple tap, and saved away by Cannoli. Tricky puts the ball away. Now back over to Asriel. Asriel into the air, hitting the ball at the backboard. Ball up here from Papa Dragon, saved away once again on the defense from Team Black. Tricky over to the sidewall. The pressure here is phenomenal in this game 1 overtime. Papa Dragon puts the ball off the backboard. Going to be looking for the follow-up. Here over to Cannoli. It's going to be beaten out. Here comes Asriel. Asriel with the flip reset. Can he get the dunk? No! It's going to be cleared away by Pastafarian. Tricky over to the backboard. Back to Cannoli. Cannoli will clear the ball down the field. JR looking for the redirect. Will put the ball on target, but it's going to be saved away by Asriel. Ball on the midfield line, double commit, and a demo coming out from both of these teams. Ball back over to the midfield line, over to Asriel. Asriel ends up believing it's going to be back to Papa Dragon. Papa Dragon ends up believing it's going to be over to Pastafarian. Pastafarian ends up not being able to get the possession he needs, but he avoids the bump. Asriel will get the dunk. It's going to bounce down. Asriel hits the ball at the backboard, sets up his team. Tricky, too slow to go for the ball. And now Papa Dragon, last man on defense, will end up getting the beat on JR. Over to Pastafarian. He takes a long shot, and it goes into the back of the net. Team Black take the lead in the series. Ooh, that's going to be a great first match of the night here from Team Black. Remember, Team Black have yet to play. Ball back over to Asriel. We'll end up meeting the possession over to the side. Puts the ball back to the side wall. Tricky, looking for a solo play, gets the ball, tries to get the ball over Cannoli, just isn't able to get it over the man himself. Cannoli, though, will look for the shot, and as we said, the man himself, Cannoli, will put the ball in the back of the net. Team Black stepping up once again. No matter how good Team Sapphire look, no matter how strong they have performance every single week, Team Black, they've been putting on the grind. They are not stopping that grind. They're trying to continue to improve and better themselves, and they're going to continue to push the ball up the field. But now, back with 4.5 minutes left to go, Team Black already at the lead, but that's going to be another shot on target here from Tricky. JR into the air will push the ball forward. Now back over to Asriel, and that's going to be over to the sidewall once again. Pastafarian off the back wall. It's going to be followed up over to Tricky. That's going to be cleared away to the side. JR pushes the ball forward over to Asriel, and Asriel pinched the ball out mid. Well, pinched the ball out mid with JR. Pastafarian gets the ball past one, looking for another dunk, tries to pass the ball mid. It's going to be a free shot for Cannoli, but Papa Dragon will easily clear that one away. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a series between Team Black and Team Sapphire's Papa Dragon and JR. Whichever player can step up and lead their team the best is going to be the one that wins this series. Of course, I'd love to see some mechanics here from Asriel, just setting up air dribbles into losing 50s for his teammate. But right now, it looks like it's going to be Papa Dragon who's going to have to step up, who's getting so many saves. Save after save after save. Shot after shot after shot. He's trying to carry his team here to a win. Papa Dragon with the 50-50 loses it straight down to Tricky. Tricky, though, couldn't maintain possession. Ball back over to Azrael. Azrael, though, ends up giving away the ball. It's going to be over to Pastafarian. Pastafarian, though, can't stay on the ball. It's going to be back over to Tricky. Papa Dragon, looking for the pass down, is now going to be back over to Cannoli. Cannoli over to JR, and JR will clear the ball down once again. That's going to be a shot on target, though, and Cannoli, he is stepping up. Even when JR is not stepping up for his team, Cannoli is starting to find the back of the net. Cannoli, as we can clearly see, has been putting in the grind, and he is ready to show everybody on stream what he is really made of, and is going to be looking to try to get Team Black their second consecutive tournament victory here. However, they haven't made it to the grand finals just yet. Even if they manage to win this game, they still have to win one of the next 3 matches. But now it's going to be back over to JR. JR into the air. Ends up faking it out. Gets it over Tricky and Team Black. They are not just looking like a one-man unit this time. They look like they have the whole shebang. Teamwork, individual plays, confidence, comms, everything right now. Team Black are looking strong. Still tons of time here in this final game, and ladies and gentlemen, I do have to ask y'all's opinion. What do you think Team Sapphire is going to have to do in order to try and get the lead in this game? Do you think that Team Sapphire are going to try and take more possession, panic a little less? Or do you think that Team Black are playing at their peak right now, and that Team Sapphire have to play at their own peak just to be able to match it? But here comes Papa Dragon, ends up losing the ball over to Tricky. Tricky can't get back to the ball. It's going to be over to Cannoli. Cannoli into the air, looking for the beat. It's going to be back to Azrael, and over to Cannoli once again. Azrael, though, isn't able to get the touch he needs, and JR will get a dunk. JR looking for a solo play of his own. Gets the ball past everyone, and Pastafarian will get credited for the goal. 4-0 now. Team Sapphire and Team Black. Here we go once again, ladies and gentlemen, back to the kickoff that we oh so know and love. And Team Black up 4 goals here in the final 2 minutes of this series. Papa Dragon off the backboard, followed up from Azrael, isn't able to get back to it. Now back over to Tricky. Tricky trying to maintain possession, isn't able to do so, and ends up giving it straight to JR. That's something I'm noticing right now. Tricky and Azrael, they're not taking possession like they normally would, and it's allowing Team Black to step up when it matters most. We have to see Tricky. We have to see Tricky. We have to see Azrael take possession, lose 50-50s to Papa Dragon, and look for those demos to give Papa Dragon the empty net, because right now, JR and the rest of his squad are popping off, and they put a ball in the back of the net once again. Oh boy, everybody, that is Team Black we know and love, and Team Aqua, they're going to be sitting in that grand final right now, thinking to themselves, how is this next series going to go? The ball's going to get pushed forward, and Azrael had an empty net, but he ends up missing. Papa Dragon looked for the shot, it's off the backboard, and Team Black continuing to look strong. But yes, Team Aqua are going to be looking at Team Black, because so far, Team Black have technically only lost 1 game in the entire time this tournament. Team Aqua are currently completely undefeated, but Team Black, I believe they have only lost 1 game back early on in the Swiss. So technically they're essentially neck and neck. However, the true question is Team Aqua as warmed up as the rest of these squads are? We saw Team Aqua almost lose the Team Gold, and Team Black have not lost the Team Gold or even kept it close. But Cannoli will put his hat trick in the back of the net, and that's going to be 6-0 lead now in game number 2. And remember, we're on Team Sapphire servers. It's almost as if Team Sapphire are playing worse on their own servers. But now, back over to Pastafarian, ends up leaving it over to the side. Papa Dragon will pinch the ball out mid. Now back over to Cannoli. Cannoli back over to Tricky. Tricky puts the ball mid. Back over to JR, and JR will try and maintain possession. JR, though, ends up centering it mid. And Azrael will look for the shot. Finally puts the ball in the back of the net, setting up the Brazil. But Azrael's just going to be happy that he managed to get the ball in the back of the net and off of a very fast pinch. Nonetheless, ends up hitting it right off the nose of JR. Ends up acting like a little bit of a doink. But Team Black still with a substantial lead. And Team Sapphire just going to try and regain momentum before they have to go back to onto East servers in the next game. Ball to the backboard, over to JR. JR pushes the ball forward. It's going to be back to Cannoli. Cannoli will look for the shot. It's going to be wide. Off the backboard once again, Azrael pops the ball up high. Papa Dragon ends up whiffing the ball. It's going to be back to Azrael. Azrael put the ball on target. Will be a shot on target. However, they're not able to get the goal. Team Sapphire going to have to try and stop the Brazil from occurring, either from scoring themselves or just avoiding getting scored on once again. But here comes Tricky, full possession. Flicks the ball up high for his teammate Azrael. But Azrael couldn't get beat to the ball. Papa Dragon will get the beat. But now the ball touches the ground at 0 seconds. Back into the next game. Cannoli ends up popping the ball up the side wall and ends up going to bounce out mid. Azrael ends up taking possession. Azrael looking for the Cuxer pinch. Ends up not being able to get the touch he wants, but he does get possession, which I honestly would have rather preferred him do in the first place, and he manages to do well with it. Flexi isn't able to get the touch he needs, and Azrael popped the ball up high. Azrael once again looking for the follow-up, isn't able to connect, and Papa Dragon now be the one stuck on defense in a 1v1 versus JR. Gets the 50-50 with JR, and now it's over to Flexi. Flexi isn't able to get the touch. He might have to warm up into the series, but he's got to warm up really, really quickly here, because if his team loses this match, they are out for the tournament. They're going to go down to a 3rd place in the seeding, as Team Aqua are already in the grand finals. Remember, if Team Sapphire even want a chance to be top 2 at the moment, they have to win this grand final. JR trying to maintain possession, now with 4 minutes off the clock, and then be over to the side wall. Cannoli pops the ball over the side wall once again. It's going to be over to Papa Dragon. Papa Dragon couldn't have the touch he needs. It's up to Flexi, and Flexi will get the save he needs at the last moment. But the ball's still hovering in front of the Team Sapphire net. And Team Sapphire are going to have to try and win this game. They're going to have to take it one step at a time if they want to try and win this series. But Pastafarian managed to get his own goal on the board. And that's going to be, looks like Cannoli getting a pull shot on that one. As it looks like that's going to be a pinch, and then Cannoli actually bumps the goalie into the ball in such a way that it flies right into the back of the net. And Team Black once again step it up when it matters most, and they're trying to complete the sweep in the best way they can. Pop Dragon ends up leaving it over to Azrael. Ball's going to get popped in forward, but Cannoli's going to look for a long shot. It's going to be saved away by the post. Cannoli ends up not being able to get back to the ball. It's going to be over to Azrael. Azrael into the air, ends up losing the 50-50 back to Papa Dragon. Papa Dragon ends up leaving it. It's going to give Pastafarian a free goal. Team Sapphire on the ropes are starting to panic, and they're not doing what they need to do. Flexi ends up leaving the back post, catches himself backwards. And that's going to be Team Black once again taking the lead. If you all voted on Team Black, congratulations, because they're looking real strong to get this sweep at this moment in time. However, we cannot count out Team Sapphire at any moment in time. They are a very strong individual squad. We just got to see Papa Dragon step it up. But Papa Dragon isn't able to put the ball in the back of the net. Papa Dragon, he has the mechanics, he has the skill, but can we see him do what he needs to do when it matters most? Ball back over to Papa Dragon, trying to maintain possession. Ends up not being able to flick the ball past Cannoli, and it's going to be back into the midfield line. Double commit coming out from Team Sapphire. Ball. Back over to the side. Over to Flexi. Flexi pushes the ball forward, over once again. Ball's going to go out to the side wall. Back over to Azrael. Azrael now back to Cannoli. Cannoli ends up not being able to get back to the ball. It's going to be over to Papa Dragon once again. Papa Dragon pushes the ball forward. Now, back into the back wall. Here is Azrael. Pastafarian will flick the ball over one. Ends up getting dunked, though, and that's going to be goal number 1. Finally going to the back of the net here for Team Sapphire. And again, it's Azrael off of a pinch with the opponent. It's the second pinch that Azrael has had with an opponent that has pinched really fast into the back of the net. Very rapid exchange of pinches and plays here between both of these two teams. And at the moment, Team Sapphire, they have the ability to tie it back up, but Team Black, of course, looking stronger than they ever have, and JR right off the kickoff will put a second one in. This is the JR we want to see. He's supporting his teammates, he's playing to the best of his ability, and he's overall just not trying, he's trying to be a team player. Just remember, we talked about it before, that everybody who tries to have a player carry them throughout the season has ended up falling up short, including Team Black. But now that we're seeing JR play like a team with his teammates, trusting his teammates, even if they are lower ranked, we're starting to see them really step it up, and they're starting to play, continuing to play at least, as strong as they can, as they're going to be looking to try and do the best of their ability and try and get to this win. Now it's over to Flexi. He's out of boost, and Pastafarian will clear the ball down the field. Once again, back over to Papa Dragon. Papa Dragon still yet to have stepped up in this match. We've seen only a couple pinches from Azriel, but Team Sapphire, since game number 1, has not been in the lead. Papa Dragon flicks the ball forward, over to Pastafarian, off the side wall. Now back over to JR once again, to the backboard. Over to Flexi. Flexi ends up not being able to get the touch he needs, and it's going to be back to Papa Dragon. Over to the backboard. Over to Azriel, and Azriel now is going to be trying to task to maintain possession. But he ends up getting the ball away to the other team, and Flexi will be the one to pinch the ball down the field once again. Who knows how Team Sapphire are able to get all these consistent pinches. However, it has not worked out for them just yet, as they're still down by 2 as the game wanes. Look at this here, the time still waning. Ball back into the offensive half here for Team Black to the backboard. Follow up here from JR, isn't able to get the touch he needs. It's going to be over to Papa Dragon. Papa Dragon looking for the solo play, can't get back to the ball. It's going to be over to the sidewall once again. Ball will bounce out mid. Over to Papa Dragon. Papa Dragon trying to maintain possession. Now over to Pasta once again. Ends up not being able to get back to the ball. And Azriel now trying to maintain possession himself. 30 seconds left in the clock, ladies and gentlemen, from Team Black, trying to defend their title. If Team Black managed to win this, they're going to have a chance to defend themselves and become a back-to-back tournament champion here in Academy, which has never been done before. Can we see them do it now? Papa Dragon pops the ball forward, gets the ball over 1. Follow up here now by Flexi. Now over to the sideline once again. Azriel ends up not being able to get back to the ball. JR looking for a 0-second goal, but Papa Dragon will get the save. And now they're going to be looking for a 0-second goal. Pasta tries to